Welcome. We're so glad that you are with us tonight. We are going to be discussing a breakthrough, exciting new technology in the area of health and wellness. And, you know, we started with one cell, and somehow that cell became a baby. So how did that happen? Well, we all know about DNA and how the DNA has all the blueprint for our body and for our lives. But how does that turn into a person? And redox signaling is a whole new area of science. The communication that goes on in our body, the best communication system in the world. So we're going to be talking about that today. And we are very fortunate. Alan Noble has done a wonderful video. It's only 7 minutes long. And we're going to be watching him explain this because he can do it much better than this kindergarten teacher. But before we do that, Ruth, would you please just tell a little bit about your story?
Yes, just a second. Oh. So this is almost a 10-year gap between these two pictures. And 10 years ago, I had a lot of trauma. And what happened is I had a mental breakdown because of that. And so I started seeing a therapist. And in the first picture, you'll see me wearing some earphones, which is sound therapy, and along with equine therapy, which was really super supportive. And I've also done some other therapies as well. But one thing that happened for me is once I started using the redox, I started getting this mental clarity that was above and beyond that what I've ever felt since I've had this breakdown. I can think clearly, I can make decisions. I feel brighter, I feel more confident. I'm just overall just that much more present. So before using this supplement, I would never have been able to do this. And one of the biggest things that I really noticed is the sense of belonging, even in my own family structure. And with friends, going camping with even family friends, I never felt like I belonged. And with the redox, it's somehow waking up my every single cell in my body. And going forward with this, I want to educate people to learn about this supplement at the cellular level and how it can help them. And this is Marian.
My family loves to backpack and hike, anything outdoors. And when I turned 70, wow, my life just slowed down. When I was trying to hike up hills, my breathing was raspy and hard. I just didn't feel like I had enough air. So my husband and I were on a backpack trip in the Sierras, and I was the last one. I hurt. It just wasn't fun. So I told Rand, next time you can just go and take pictures. Well, he said, let's take those Asea pouches and see if they make a difference. Oh my goodness. I was at the head of the pack again. And I mean, that was the hardest hike we've done. We were bouldering, we were rock climbing with our packs, but it was fun. And I had the energy and the strength to do it. So last summer, I was out walking with my German Shepherd, Rex, and he was prancing around. Another dog was out there. They didn't bump into me, but I was watching them and not what I was doing, and I tripped. which was no big deal, except that on the way down, I hit a stick and it poked a good sized hole. I had to have some surgery and stitches and all of that. My face was just black and blue and swollen. It happened on June 10th. 8 days later, I went to have my stitches out, and the doctor was amazed at how good my face looked, how good the stitches looked. Now, it wasn't perfect because they'd taken skin from my eyelid to use in the patching process. And there was a scar, and it just felt like it was pulling, even though it was healed. But by it was probably a month that my eye was just wonderful again. No pulling, and just so grateful. I should tell you, when I got home, which was a process, trying to get home with a bloody mess, I put a washcloth on my face and just poured Asea in that area, and it stopped the bleeding. And I wanted that because I didn't know I was going to need stitches, but I did not want an infection. And that was, the doctor was so concerned. He wanted to know all about this stick. I don't know if he thought a dog had peed on it or what, but the Asea worked as a cleanser for me, and it stopped the bleeding, and it just started the healing. So at this time, could we, go ahead, you tell about Rosie.
Okay, and so this is one of my favorite testimonies about Rosie. At age 84, her son introduced her to redox, and you can see that she doesn't look like she's feeling very well, and her face is all saggy. And 7 weeks later, she was telling her son, I don't think that this is working. And he took another picture. And after that, she was really sold on this redox. And as you can see, what the redox is doing for her, she's looking healthier, and she even looks like she's feeling healthier at age 86, 87, and age 80, at age 91. She just looks really bright, especially compared to when she was only 84. And the one thing that is really amazing about these redox is that it doesn't just work on your skin, it works on your insides as well. It's truly an amazing anti-aging supplement. Yes. Okay. Marian? Oh, I'm going to do this too. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take you to realredoxresults.biz. And it has a sister site, realredoxresults.com. You might want to take a screenshot, or Marian, you could put it in the messages or the chat. And the password to both of these sites is redox. And we're going to learn a little bit about the redox and the business part. Whoops. And so right here, you would write the password redox, REDOX, in all lowercase letters. I've already done it. And
hello and welcome to the Asea opportunity. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Alan Noble. I'm originally from Ireland, now living in Dallas, Texas, with my wife Tanya and my 2 daughters. And I've been a home-based entrepreneur for almost 30 years. And for the last 12 years, I've focused my time on this exact same opportunity that I'm sharing with you today. In that time, I've been grateful to have achieved considerable financial success for myself and my family. Now, this opportunity has taken me from being financially embarrassed to experiencing true financial freedom. But more importantly, I've been able to work directly and indirectly with thousands of people who have also seen financial success with this opportunity. Some of them even going on to become members of our elite $1 Million Earners Club. Now, I don't say any of this to impress you, but to impress upon you the sheer potential of the information that you are about to review. Now, before we get started, I want to tell you up front that the people that succeed with this opportunity can check 2 boxes. You've got to believe your health is your greatest wealth, and it's your responsibility to invest into it, that living in a healthy, vibrant body is important to you. You also have to have a strong desire to create an additional income stream. If you can check those 2 boxes, then I can assure you, you are in the right place at the right time, watching the right presentation. I would like to begin with some what-if questions. What if there was a breakthrough in the massive $150 billion health supplement industry? A breakthrough technology that for 2 decades science had declared was impossible, and yet today represents a new category of science. What if this high-impact technology was allowing people to experience better health and vitality, greater athletic endurance and recovery, slow down the aging process so you can look younger longer? What if this same technology was protected by patents and trade secrets, so there was no competition, no copycats, no other company in the world has anything like it? No one. And finally, what if virtually no one knows about it, with less than 2% of the population even knowing the technology exists? What if all of this was true? Would that sound like an opportunity to you? Now, the fact is, breakthroughs create opportunity, and the bigger the breakthrough, the bigger the opportunity. So I'm going to divide this presentation into 3 parts. Part 1, we're going to talk about money, income, opportunity. Then in part 2, I'm going to introduce you to this massive health science breakthrough that checks every one of those what-if boxes that I mentioned earlier. And then finally in part 3, I will introduce you to the company behind it all, how to get started, as well as give you some additional resources so you can explore information to make an informed decision. So with that, let's get right into part 1, the opportunity. So you're watching this video because you're open for ways to create an additional stream of income, particularly if it doesn't get in the way of what you're currently doing. An income opportunity that you can weave into even the busiest of schedules. A business that does not require a lot of upfront capital, running costs, or any employees. A business that you could run from your own home with a phone and a computer and offers unlimited training and support. Best of all, a business that can empower you to better people's lives and be a force for good in the world, or as I like to say, make a living while making a difference. So let's get a little personal and let me ask you this question. How much additional income would it take to make a real difference in your life? What would winning look like for you? Perhaps you're looking for some part-time income. There's too much month left at the end of the money, and you want to create an additional income to relieve the financial stress. With inflation going through the roof, look, if you don't find a way to make more money this year over last year, then financially you are slipping backwards. Maybe you want to replace a full-time income. You want to be your own boss, work from home, take back control of your financial future. I realized at 23 years of age that I was psychologically unemployable. I did not want to clock in and clock out for somebody else for the next 40 years. Maybe that's you. Or perhaps you believe you deserve to have it all. You see the big picture here and realize that big-time income, lifestyle income is possible. Now, allow me to stress, this is a business and it does require work. Like any business, there's no guarantees of income. Results that you experience will be based on individual effort, commitment, and dedication. However, with that said, here's a snapshot of the various levels of success in our business and the corresponding incomes. These are real people achieving real results. There are monthly lows and monthly highs, but I've highlighted the monthly average. And I think it's fair to say that we check all the boxes, whether it's some additional part-time income, full-time income, or that big-time lifestyle income. And the income that we're talking about can become a residual income. Think about this. You have residual bills in life, bills that come in month after month, whether you're working or not. Why not have a residual income that comes in month after month, whether you're working or not? I once heard it said that if you fully understood the power of residual income, you would walk through a brick wall to get to it. And yet the sad truth is most people never get to experience residual income because they don't have enough spare money to create it. Instead, they spend their entire working lives exchanging the most valuable thing they own, their time, for a one-time dollar. So at this point, allow me to introduce you to Asea Redox, what many experts are calling the single greatest health science breakthrough of our lifetime. To grasp the importance of Asea Redox and this breakthrough, you must fully understand that your body is the most complex communication network on Earth. Every second of every day, your cells are passing tremendous amounts of information to keep your body running at optimal health. Any breakdown in this vital communication, in this signaling, and you cannot achieve your full health potential. To put it very simply, if your cells can't signal, then little else matters. Imagine your home is on fire and you call the fire department. They've got the big red truck, the firefighters, the fire hose, everything they need to put out the fire. But what if you have a bad cell signal? They don't get the message and your home goes up in smoke. The $150 billion supplement industry has put all of their focus and attention on the fire truck. The vitamins, the minerals, the antioxidants, the exotic juices, the essential oils, the CBD oils. But nobody is focusing on the critical cell signal until now. Asea Redox is the world's first and only cell signaling supplement. And for the first time, we can amplify and clarify this critical cell signal, and the difference it's making in people's lives is absolutely astonishing. This signaling technology is empowering people to feel better than ever before, helping folks with challenges they may have had for decades, proving to be the missing link to better health and vitality. And it's not just health. Casual athletes all the way to Olympic athletes are experiencing improvements in endurance, strength and recovery, beating personal bests and breaking documented world records. And with our topical signaling gel, Renew 28, seeing is believing, resulting in a healthy, clear complexion, tighter, younger looking skin, while dramatically reducing wrinkles, stretch marks, cellulite, and many other signs of aging. And when applied to sore joints and muscles, we often see dramatic improvement in 5 minutes or less. And as I said earlier, this astonishing technology has been validated by third-party independent science, and thanks to multiple patents, there is nothing else like it in the world. So at this point, let's move to part 3 of this presentation as I share with you a little of the story behind the breakthrough. The founders of Asea, Vertus Norton and his son Tyler, were both extremely well-experienced corporate strategists working with several multi-billion-dollar companies. They had bought an unfinished version of this technology from a struggling biotech company. They brought in a team of brilliant scientists led by an atomic medical physicist, and soon they achieved the breakthrough. They stabilized a cell signaling technology that previously science had declared was impossible. The goal now was to simply sell their new technology to the pharmaceutical industry and walk away with the profits. However, knowing that their product was 100% safe with 0 levels of toxicity, they started 40 people using the product. And many of these people began to see remarkable results. They naturally started sharing the product with others. And soon there's 135 people in 20 different countries benefiting from this breakthrough. A pharmaceutical company flies into Salt Lake City, puts a multi-million-dollar offer on the table with one condition. Every single person drinking this product had to stop, regardless of the life-changing benefits they might have been experiencing. So it's important for you to know that the founders of Asea actually said no to this massive payout, and they said yes to a set of principles. They said yes to putting people first. So what now? They have something that people deserve to know about. But how do we tell the world that this powerful technology exists? Both Vertus and Tyler knew that their cutting-edge technology would require a little education and personal experience. They'd also seen that when people benefited from the product, they would naturally share it with others. So they chose word of mouth, referral marketing, network marketing. And it's this business model that opens up tremendous financial opportunity for people like you and me. Someone who wants to build an exciting residual income while having a positive impact on the lives of others. As I said earlier, making a living while making a difference. And here's a quick summary of our success so far. Officially launched in 2010, we're a legacy-focused, debt-free company. We own and operate our FDA-registered, NSF-certified manufacturing facility. We operate more than 20 distribution centers and ship to over 30 countries in North America, Europe, Australia, and Asia. We have achieved over $1 billion in sales since we began, and we've paid out over $450 million in commissions, positively impacting tens of thousands of people's lives, both physically and financially. Asea wisely spent the first decade laying the foundation for long-term success. In 2020, we achieved global sales of $180 million, and we're on track to triple the size of this business, taking the company to $500 million in sales over the next few years. Now, in doing so, we will pay out $1 billion in commissions, creating strong part-time, full-time, and yes, big-time residual incomes for our associates. So everything is in place for your success. A financially rock-solid, ethical, principle-based company, a patented, protected breakthrough in health that is changing lives, and yet most people don't even know it exists. A generous compensation structure where you can earn significant residual income. And perfect timing. We are post-risk, but we still have most of our exciting growth ahead of us. And of course, you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself, with unlimited training and support from like-minded entrepreneurs who have already experienced success. Becoming an Asea associate couldn't be simpler. Step 1, visit the Team Asea website or the person that introduced you to this video and click on the join button to become an associate. Step 2, choose one of our discounted enrollment packs and become a product of the product. Step 3, opt in for our very user-friendly subscription program that can be cancelled at any time. With our monthly subscription, you start to earn valuable loyalty reward points that can be cashed in for free product down the road. Now, I want to thank you for your time in watching this short video. If you'd like to better understand the business model of network marketing and how the money's made, then I'm going to encourage you to take a few minutes and watch the next video. You can also listen to people from around the world share their experiences with the Asea business opportunity. If you'd like to dig into our breakthrough health technology and how it's impacting people's lives, then visit our sister site, www.railredoxresults.com. Same password that got you onto this site. And finally, I recommend getting back to the person that invited you to Asea. And if you're ready to join us, I want to be the first to welcome you aboard the great Asea adventure. This is Alan Noble thanking you for your time today and wishing you all the success that you believe you deserve. And bye for now.
This is so exciting. I just think of the people that are in our group just today and the difference it's made in our lives. For me, the anti-aging, for Ruth, the feeling better, looking so much younger and beautiful too. And something very special about our company is that we have experts who are at our side to help us along the way. I've known Jerry, I taught his children in kindergarten, and we've been friends for a long time. He's a fabulous, good friend and good person. He loves coaching. He loves helping people to be the best they can be, whether it's swimming, running, or even in Asea, helping us all to blossom. He's an adjunct professor in biomechanics and a physical therapist. And he is the founder of the Biomechanics Lab at Shriners. He has so many wonderful stories about those brave children, and he was able to help them have a successful life. So Jerry, we welcome you. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you. And so this is where it gets to be fun for me. We live in a world right now that one of the greatest needs that we have is to come back together, to be aware of how powerful life can be when we get to live it with somebody else. Do you ever think about going on a journey and doing it by yourself? I mean, there's some real gains that you can do by that, but boy, just sharing that with someone else. And in my life experience, I was involved with all that stuff that you saw on the page there, but it was unfulfilling. It was very interesting to me. I'd get bored after 5 years. Didn't matter what I was doing. Could be the most exciting job in the world. And I always realized that the only thing that I was not bored doing was coaching, was helping people find their own individual strengths and become who they could become. I love the cutting edge side of the technology, and really thinking about the best possible quality that we can become as individuals. Just before this, I was reading a book that was written in 1936. Probably one of the best books I've ever read, called, except for the Bible, probably the second best book, is called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And what it's all about is how to work together to create an amazing life beyond ourselves. So this team, as you see it here, represents one way in which we gather together to celebrate the uniqueness of the people that we meet, celebrate people who have skills in various areas, and to accomplish and answer questions and to solve problems. And here's what it kind of comes down to. We have a need to get this technology to the world. It will astound you when you start looking at that site called Real Redox Results, what this has done. And for many of you, you want to get an own personal experience of doing that. So I would suggest get a hold of it and then try it on everything. It's better than Aunt Jemima on pancakes. Try it on things because we know it's the safest material that we've ever seen. In fact, it's very interesting in the history of this that spent 17 years of trying to become an IV drug. The reason it was put in IV after its discovery, that's intravenous through the arm, was because it was unstable and would not last long enough to do the job if you drank it or had any other application. By the time 25 minutes went by, that original discovery, as Alan was saying, it was kind of unstable. It wasn't complete. By the time you used it, there were these radical things that were occurring that put it in the mainstream of what we need for health and anti-aging and all this stuff, like nothing we'd ever seen before, but it only lasts 25 minutes. So if you tried to get it to distribute it to anywhere, by the time it gets to the post office, it was like, back to harmless salt water. As a result, it went bankrupt and then was picked up. And as Alan was mentioning, it was the drug company came, and once it was stabilized, it dropped out of the category of being a drug. And that was really an interesting thing, because in order to get to the final stages of drug studies at the FDA, you have to apply for a thing called, or you have to tell them on an application, what is the LD50? Doesn't matter what you're studying, it has to have an LD50. I didn't know what that was, and I was into research, but it means what's the lethal dose on 50% of the proposed population? How much would it take to kill 50% of the people you put it on? Here's the shock. If you buy a product that's called a medicine, it's called a drug. It can't be called a drug unless it can kill you. That's amazing. And so there's a big, strong checks and balances system to make sure that everything gets ticked off all the way through. I think they're cheating that a little bit recently, but for anything to be called a medication. And now the problem from an economic standpoint with a company is that it went from $3,200 a quart as an IV drip to $40. So not only could they not go into the classification for a drug, but when you came out of the classification for a drug, it was worth one thousandth of what it was before. So now what we had to do is we said, that's great because now the population can afford it, but we have to be able to get it to real people. And the best way to do that was through real people, because we can't claim that this will diagnose or treat or cure or heal anything. What we can tell you is if your cells, when you were little, did something better and more efficiently than they're doing now, when you were in high school, when you were in college, when you were building the body as an embryo, during those times, if it did better than it's currently doing now, we found that the reason it's not is because we're losing these signaling characters at a rate of about 1% per year. And the surprise is when we bring them back up and all the communication can begin to start to adapt and to work in ways like it did when you were young, the cells individually can rebuild themselves like when you were young. The breadth of that concept is astounding. So here's our next, this is how we finish this out. They said, we got to get this out there. And the best way to do that is through the creativity and the heart of people working with people. We're so skeptical in this world about stuff and advertisements and people pushing us around that it would be much better if it was people you actually cared about. So that was one of the tenets that we said, we're going to give everybody an equal opportunity to play in this game. And then they said, all right, so if you want to do this, there's a couple of things you can do. Number one, you can just order it. That's gotten to be pretty easy. People just go to the internet and order stuff. Well, guess what? We have a website on the internet where you can order stuff. Now you can get that and it's delivered to your house, kind of like everything else is nowadays. But you can only get it through people who represent it. So you got to go through their website. Except if you want your own dang website, doesn't cost anything, but you can then enroll and get your own. The other advantage to that, it's cheaper. And you can use it however you like. You can continue to order, you can get on standing order, you can do whatever you want with it. Knock yourself out. But then there's this big picture where they said, here's the thing. We got these sets of procedures and some of the stuff you're seeing right now. And all your job is to set up distribution. And the greater the distribution, the greater return for the people on the team that distributes it. Aha, my coaching clickers are going off. What if I could put together teams of people from every walk of life that could work together to support one another, to set up some principles that said, you know, we would like to live a better life in a better world than what we have right now. And those principles might be like this. Somebody said, well, some people want to be rich. See, that's a hard one for me because I just avoid that kind of stuff. I don't want anybody to think I'm overly pretentious. And so it just drives me nuts. So we changed rich to respect, integrity, character, and honor. We'll get them. Now imagine then a group of people who are coming together to fulfill those criteria. And then we found that there are some universal laws in this world. And one of them is, some of them are stated really cool, like you can get more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. Another one says, if it's called the golden rule. treat others the way you'd like to be treated. What if we could build a distribution mechanism where people are taking advantage and growing and developing and filling in what they need and supporting one another and lifting other people? It'd be crazy. Now, what happens then is they said, okay, if you're one of those people that wants to establish a hub and start one of these processes, you can buy worldwide distribution rights for $40. So now you have to stop and say, if I can probably save $49 on initial purchase of some of this stuff, and it only costs $41 to start, maybe I'll try that. Now, through that process, you now have the ability to join us and become exactly who God meant you to be. And when you hang around with other people, I am so proud of this team so far because of who these people have become. And it's always a journey along the way. That's one of the biggest reasons that I started in this industry was I wanted to be better, a little bit better every day than what I was before. So you get a chance to write your own future a little bit. And this is kicking. This is the best doggone stuff. Because as you succeed and watch other people fulfill who they can be, more product gets distributed. And there's some little dude at the factory that has this amazing computer. He goes, because all that happened, you have to send money into this account over here. That's the extent that I use money. I let them put it into an account for my wife to use. And it works incredibly well. So if you want to get into the more detailed stuff of that, I'll tell you what, the coolest part of it is I got to fulfill these 5 things. And I'll see if I can pull this up without a hitch here. This was what I sat down and said, if I'm going to go a new phase in the life of my family, I'm going to choose what we want to accomplish. And the first one is I want to live an amazing life full of adventure and gratitude to the God Almighty. Number 2, with a whole bunch of people that we totally love and care about. This thing can grow exponentially. You can bring some people and they bring some people and they bring some people. It's like a big old potluck with a sleepover afterwards. The third one was to make a much bigger difference in the world together than we could ever make by ourselves. And then to give credit to the people who do the work. You ever see that in the world where oftentimes the credit goes to whoever, but not the people who really put the shoulder to it and the courage to it and did the work. And finally, for me, I just had to come up with a very simple statement that says I wanted to make enough money to be done with money. So when the most important things came along in life, time and money were not an object. We could just do what we were meant to do. So through that, that's why we're here. Through that, we gather and we spread out. And we try to teach you to be like these viruses that are going around. Get around people and infect them. And as you infect them with the ideas of becoming something more, the ideas of building yourself to something much better than where you are today, and to get that experience to just watch people's little light shine, that's what we get to do for a living. And once we can help, reach down and help somebody get up on their own 2 feet, and then they begin to start to help, we can lift more people up. And we can bring more people home, because the people who come home have the ability to touch the next generations of people with the values that we care about the most, not the values that Facebook cares about, not the values that the institutions necessarily care about. They're different than what my family is. And I would just as soon say, give me liberty or give me death. Here we go. So all of those options are available to each and every one of you, as they were just for us. But like Alan Noble told you, this is only just the beginning. Think about it, $200 million a year. And we haven't even scratched the surface yet. There are vast territories, almost the entire country of Canada. Nobody knows about it. There's only about 3 places in the United States where it's really taken off so far. And look, we're sitting at 200 million with no debt. So we want to invite you to that. If you feel like you could be a part of what we do, we feel like we could be. And to just steal from the words of one of the greatest living orators from our recent times, if you'd like to play, we'll leave the light on for you. All right, back to you.
Well, I just want to close saying, Jerry turned the light on for us. And because of it, we are all living more extraordinary lives. And I thank you again for that. And then the fact that we are a family and that we're all encouraging, helping each other to grow and blossom. And I was listening to a news program yesterday, and it was talking about people quitting their jobs because they want freedom. They want independence. They want choices. And that's what we are. So I'm looking for people who want what we want and want to be healthy. Thanks so much for being with us. And if people have questions, let's take a few minutes, and Jerry, go ahead and address any questions that people might have. Do you want to turn off the recorder, please?